who has guided Fortune 500 companies worldwide and discover proven strategies to drive profitability through a full day of workshops, panels, and more. Connect with hundreds of professionals and continue to build your network. Perspectives 2025, Strategies for Workplace Success. Register now at RaleighChamber.org.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Well, today I was running to CVS in downtown because my daughter had a stomach bug and was vomiting all night long. So I was just like, okay, like my wife was up at 3 a.m. and she's like, Violet's vomiting, although she can't keep anything down. And so it was kind of a rough start to the morning. I'm not blaming that on my start, but it was just kind of like it fit the mold of what was going on, the chaos. But my daughter always asks me every time Dad goes golfing, she's like, were you the winner today? And I'm just sometimes like, yeah, I was. And then she's like, well, where's my surprise? But so today she's like, you're the winner today. Like she got to see it. Like she didn't have to ask me. So that was a really fun moment.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Hi, everyone. Victoria's here. Hope you had a good weekend.
I know. I was going to say, I hope you had a good Father's Day and all the other dads. Awesome dads.
We did a family lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice.
No hot dogs.
I actually had several hot dogs on the weekend.
Nice.
But none yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I had a salad at lunch.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what happens. My older son also did.
Wow.
And by the way.
Not the young one, though, because he's a picky eater, right?
He's not picky. He just eats the
not?
same things all the time. He eats wings.
Someone
almost all the time.
Picky.
Wings, chicken tenders, or although he's basically half chicken at this point.
Yeah.
But when my older son was trying to convince him that the burger he wanted was actually better as a chicken sandwich, like Jack, who's, again, he's 70% chicken at this point,
mm-hmm.
I said, no, I don't want it that way. I'm like, never mind. But I've reached that point, and I'll say this out loud. My older son grabbed the check.
Whoa. What?
First of all, completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But we've reached that point.
Wow. Okay.
I won't let it happen again. So shouts, Tanner. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, how about that? It was very exciting. And I got a pickleball set.
Whoa. Are you
I've never
pickleballed
played.
before?
I've never played.
Okay.
I've never pickleballed.
Yeah.
I've made fun of pickleballers, but the set is very cool. It comes with 2 paddles, 2 pickleballs, and 2 headbands.
Whoa.
And I got to tell you, I am more into the headband right now than I am the pickleball. No joke.
Matching wristbands either?
No wristbands. It didn't go with wristbands. But it came with a headband. It's a very old school thing.
Yes.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. And the cool thing is that in many of the places where Jack has soccer training, they have pickleball courts.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we show up a little early.
Yeah.
Warm up. A little pickleball.
Right? You should.
I'm excited for that.
Honestly, you should just wear the headband doing barn things.
I might just do that.
Like just go into the barn and mowing the lawn.
Mowing the lawn bald.
Getting the mail.
With a headband on. And it's an old school looking headband.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, very cool.
I love it.
So thank you to my older son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
nice.
Good. Coming of age.
Turning a new leaf.
Of sorts.
I don't know.
All right, let's start. So the soundbite you heard was J.J. Spawn, who is your U.S. Open champion.
Not Scotty Scheffler.
Not Scotty Scheffler. Not Rory McIlroy, not John Rahm, not Bryson DeChambeau, not any of the best players in the world, not Xander Schauffele or whoever.
Nope.
J.J. Spawn.
Wow.
So, I'll just say this out right off the hop. I am a major championship snob. I have always taken it. I mean, it's a joke, but I don't want to see non-worthy winners of majors. I think to me, that is you plant your flag in, I am one of the best in the world at this. Granted, everybody who is a pro at golf is one of the best in the world. I kid you not. We have, I don't know, tens of millions of golfers all over the globe. So if you're in the top 200 of golfers on the planet,
yeah, it's good.
You're pretty great at this. Mm-hmm. So even the ones who are not better than, at the Scheffler, McIlroy level, man, pretty great. So all of them are capable. But still, that has never stopped me from being sort of angry when these
Yeah.
almost or win majors. But I got to tell you, J.J. Spawn, who lost in the Players' Championship playoff to Rory McIlroy back in March, nearly holed a putt that would have won it outright on Sunday, ended up going to the playoff on Monday based on a weather delay, and lost the 3-hole aggregate playoff to McIlroy. He showed something then, and I'm not saying he is a major champion guy. Like, he probably will never win another one, and he probably won't really contend for any more. He's more of a rank-and-file player. Good player. No doubt about it. And I had mentioned last week, I guess when because he had to lead after one round, that he was a past champion of the Rex Hospital Open. He actually didn't win that Rex Hospital Open, but he was a contender. I think he finished in the top 2 or 3. He is, however, a past champion of a tournament that is no longer played, the Stahl Family Foundation Open on the Canadian Tour.
Yep.
He won that back in 2015, but I don't believe that tournament either exists anymore or it's not a regular Canadian Tour event. Either way, so there you go. There's a connection for us here. He won the Stahl Family Foundation event. Anyway, he's a good player, and he's had a pretty good year. He has been at one point as high as 25th in the world. He was, I think, just outside the top 100 before maybe at the beginning of this season, maybe just outside the top 100. So, he's a good player, but he's basically just a rank-and-file PGA Tour guy. And he survived the hardest test of golf. Absolutely amazing. He makes a 65-foot putt on the final hole. Now, the putt wasn't to win. He ended up winning by 2. He had 2 putts from 65 feet to win. But even so, he rolled it in the middle. You can't think of a better way of wrapping it up. And he mentioned afterwards, he recognized just how unlikely it was.
Yeah, it's definitely like a storybook fairy tale ending. Kind of the underdog, fighting back, not giving up, never quitting. With the rain and everything, and then the putt. I mean, it's just, you couldn't write a better story. And I'm just so fortunate to be on the receiving end of that.
Look, there was a lot of criticism for the USGA and the course setup, and we're going to talk to Brad Fritsch at the bottom of the hour. It was an unforgiving Oakmont this weekend. absolutely unforgiving. Never mind that good scores were available if you kept the ball in the fairway. Good scores were available. If you strayed from the fairway, I'm sorry, it was going to be penal. We can debate all day long whether or not Sam Burns got a good ruling on the 15th hole where he was not allowed to take a free drop from what he felt was casual water. And I know that there were media members that disagreed with the ruling, but there were two different rulings that came up with the same thing, that nope, you don't get free relief. And Sam could have hit a better shot out of it, but he didn't. And then he completely melted down. And he ended up falling, I don't know what, ended up being 4 shots back because Spawn finished at 1 under par, and I think Burns finished at 3 over.
Yeah, it looked like him for a long time.
Oh, I thought Sam absolutely was going to win. He had a 2-shot lead right about at the turn.
Yeah.
But it started falling apart before the rain delay. Right? You could see. First of all, everybody was leaking oil. Spawn bogeyed 5 of his first 6 holes. I mean, he was awful. The rain delay, I thought, was the perfect reset for anybody that wanted to take advantage of it. Spawn did.
Yeah, works for baseball teams.
It absolutely does. Sometimes the best thing that happens is halftime in a football game or the end of the period in hockey. You just get a chance to take a break for a second. And Spawn figured it out, steadied the ship. He birdied 4 of his last 7 holes. What I don't understand, I heard this interview this morning, and I'm going to move off this and go to something else real quick. I heard an interview this morning, and I think it was Mark Cannizzaro, covers golf for the New York Post, questions whether or not the USGA is here to identify the best players as opposed to embarrass them. And I would point out that there isn't anybody who thought that this was not going to be a very difficult test. And yet nobody thought anybody not named Scotty Scheffler was going to win or John Rahm was going to win. If they were truly the best players, and you only have to be great for the current week, the 4 days, then they would have been right there with J.J. Spawn. But they weren't, because they were something in their game didn't allow them to shoot a lower score. It's just that simple. And I wonder if people who say these things consider, facts. Like somebody like J.J. Spawn, if he wins the Open, therefore it was too difficult of a golf course. People. Danny Willits won the Masters. Charles Schwartzel, who's never sniffed another major, won the Masters. Trevor Immelman won the Masters. Mike Weir won the Masters. This is in the last 20 years. It happens. Guys just have great weeks. Heck, Rich Beam won the freaking PGA. Bob May, who I had never heard of ever at any point, nearly beat Tiger Woods at the PGA. It's stupid. It's bitter, and it's petty to say, well, it's the USGA for you. No, man, it just happens. And J.J. Spawn was awesome. I am not a fan of guys who don't have major credentials winning majors, but holy cow, that was a fun final round to watch.
Yeah.
It was carnage.
Do we know what his numbers were before it even started? He was probably like plus
a
million.
The betting?
Yeah.
When I was going through, because he was in one of the first groups, might have been in the first group that went off the first or 10th tee. So when I was going through the odds, I'm like, AJ Spawn.
That's a lot.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was like plus 15,000 or something like
wow.
that.
Wow.
He wasn't even though he was only 1 shot back, I think he was the 4th or 5th choice going to the final round. even though he's only one shot back. Good for J.J. Spawn. Congratulations. Absolutely life-changing. And he's going to be on the Ryder Cup team. We'll talk to Brad Fritsch about that in about 15 minutes. All right. We don't have any hockey tonight. I don't like the fact that we have to go 2 days between games.
Either.
Right? We had Saturday, we had hockey, we had nothing. Yesterday, we had nothing. We had nothing today. We have two. I know we have basketball, but whatever.
Are they blaming it on the time zones or countries? Who knows? I don't know what they're blaming
the
on.
NHL and the NBA don't want to play on the same days, and the NBA, I don't know. Look, the NHL is doing the same thing. Too many days off in between. They should be playing hockey tonight, but they're not. And by the way, Game 6 is in Florida, where the Panthers can close it out. We'll see. Panthers have not been as good at home as they've been on the road, but I kind of get the sense that they will close it out. But before we get to the Stanley Cup Finals, Hurricanes have been mentioned. We talked about this before with Mitch Marner. And I know Elliot Friedman in the latest 32 Thoughts, the podcast from Sportsnet, Friedman says that, hey, Marner might be looking to do a short-term free agent deal so he can hit the market again in a few years and hit an even bigger home run in free agency. I got no problem with that. I've never understood why players, like, no offense to Seth Jarvis, and I get why the Hurricanes do it, but if you were Jarvis, I'd do a 3-year deal and then hit you for more money in 3 years. Jarvis is locked in for 7 more years at whatever the number is. All of these guys, that's fine. It's great. Hey, it's good for security. It's good for you know where you're going to be, all of that, and it's good for the team. But, boy, it's not good for the salary. Of course, nobody's going to complain about $7.5 million a year. I shouldn't say nobody. Some people will. I wouldn't. And a lot of these guys don't, so far be it for me to criticize that. But I get why Mitch Marner wants to do a shorter deal. Shorter deals are the rule in the NBA. The absolute rule in the NBA. Just constantly hitting the market. Constantly. How many contracts has LeBron James signed?
Yeah.
My gosh. Constantly hitting the market. But it's different in hockey. So if Marner wants to do a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal in free agency, by all means. Now, to the Hurricanes' potential pursuit of Marner. Talked about it on Friday. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan, because you'd be silly to not be a fan of a player as good as Mitch Marner. But I'll just go back to something I have said many times before. This ain't fantasy sports. So we're not just adding a player, plugging in, oh, he's going to do this, and it's going to add to wins. It's all a guessing game. We don't know what Mitch Marner is going to be like here, and we also don't know how it will impact wins. If we all agree that the Hurricanes were separated from Florida in 2 or 3 areas. 1, down the middle. 2, physicality. 3, maybe a better defense than Carolina showed. Well, Mitch Marner doesn't really solve any of those problems. I'm not saying don't get Mitch Marner. What I am saying is you still have the same 3 areas to fill. So if you want to gain ground on the gold standard in the sport, and that's the Florida Panthers, then you better be ready to get that. Because Marner doesn't solve any of those deficiencies between where Carolina is and where Florida is. He doesn't. Great player, not against it, but we still have all of these areas to address. And that, by the way, also counts goaltending, which you could argue they need to address. Speaking of goaltending, Frederik Andersen, Denmark. He'll play in the Olympics coming up next winter.
Look at him go.
Hurricanes had a bunch of guys, even former Hurricanes, bunch of guys make the team. There are a dozen teams playing in the Olympic tournament next February, I guess it is. And the all 12 nations will, at some point today, release their first 6 Denmark apparently only could identify 5, which I find funny. Denmark apparently is going to play the Olympics shorthanded.
Wow.
But Finland produced their roster today. Sebastian Aho was one of the initial 6, along with Alexander Barkov, Asa Lindell, Miro Heiskanen, Jussi Saros, and our old friend Mikko Rantanen.
Oh, wow.
The top 6. Martin Necas was named one of the top 6 players from Czechia. He is going to the Olympics. Nino Niederreiter, our old friend, was one of the first 6 players named to Team Switzerland. So it's cool to see all of, even our old friends, maybe not so much Rantanen, but our old friends, Necas and Niederreiter being, heading for the Olympics. That's very cool. We have not seen the United States and Canada just yet.
Interesting.
Also haven't seen France for whatever reason. But
out.
yeah, I guess they're waiting. It's a big reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we haven't seen the United States and Canada, and our friend Tim Donnelly does the show after me here in Raleigh. He asked me do I think Slavin will be one of the first 6. My initial reaction is no.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be one of the first 6. But he was their best player at 4 Nations.
He was.
I still don't think he'll be one of their first 6. But, both Tkachuk brothers will be named.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yep.
I would imagine Austin Matthews will be named.
Sure.
Maybe Jack Eichel will be named. Right?
Should.
Connor Hellebuck. And then my guess is Zach Werenski. But I don't know, man. Seth Jones might have played his way onto that team, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Slavin's going to be on that team. There's no doubt about it. And he'll likely be on a top pair with somebody. Maybe it'll be Slavin and his buddy from growing up, Seth Jones. They grew up in Denver together. Anyway, I don't think Slavin will be one of the first 6. I hope I'm wrong, because it would be awesome. Because finally it would be like, yeah, we got some recognition
now they get it.
For Jacob Slavin. All right, real quick before we hit our first break. I had 2 things real quick. Chuba Hubbard was quoted as saying, "Our goal is to win the Super Bowl."
Well, that's good.
Well, yes. And I know how it'll be received. And I get it. We're all kind of cynical people, and we're in many ways realists, because I don't believe the Panthers are anything close to a Super Bowl contender.
No.
But, and I've said this before, every player, regardless of the level of your team, sees a path forward.
Yeah.
Because they're wired differently. They're wired way differently than we are. We're wired to look at things and go, yeah, I don't know. What's the best thing, the best way? Like, I think the Panthers could win 10 games.
Sure.
I'm not saying they will win 10 games. I think things go right. They could win 10 games, and that could be enough to win the South.
Yeah.
Right? More likely it's an 8 or 9 win team, but I think they could win 10.
Normal person says win the division first, then the Super Bowl.
But that ain't how these
That's
guys
not Chuba.
think. So, Chuba Hubbard, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you for saying it out loud. Hey, look, I think that there's a lot to like about them offensively. We'll have to see it on the field. The wide receiver room looks like it's much better. Clearly, minicamp doesn't tell us the full extent of how much better Xavier Liggett is now than he was then. We'll still need to see. We still need to see the tight end get better. We need the offensive line to be good, and we need Bryce Young to take another step. Again, I'm just kind of holding. I don't want to put too much stock in what I saw last year, when to me there wasn't the pressure to win.
Yeah.
There was the pressure to perform, which is pressure in and of itself, but there wasn't the pressure to win.
Yeah.
All right, one more thing.
You know, Chuba's also a Oilers fan. He was.
Oh, he's Canadian.
Yes, he was wearing
that's right.
Oilers gear on game 2, I think it was. Yeah.
How would that have gone if it was Carolina versus Edmonton?
I know. Yeah. Well, that would have been a conflict of interest.
Chuba Hubbard here winding the siren?
I know. But he was able to use the whole Panther thing because he was like, this Panther is cheering for the Oilers this time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Even though I'm also cheering for the Panthers. So I thought Edmonton would win the series, but I am rooting for Florida. I think Florida is just so much fun to watch. All right, one more very quick thing. The United States won a soccer match. Yes, our long national nightmare is over. Men's national team beat Trinidad and Tobago. It's a Gold Cup. It's a tournament, and it's going on right now, and it's not really representative of what the United States is going to put on the field during the World Cup, but some of the players are vying for spots, maybe not in the first 11, but on the roster. I think the World Cup squads are 25 or 26 deep, so it was good to see a different goalie. Like, no joke. We hadn't, like, I thought we were going to be sentenced to watching Matt Turner for forever. But Freeze, I don't even know where he came from. But he played from NYCFC. I know he plays there. But we did get to see Patrick Aubameyang from Charlotte FC score a goal. Let's see who else. We saw Chris Richards, center back from Crystal Palace, who played well. Tim Ream also played. I got news for you. If Tim Ream is starting for us in the World Cup, we got issues. No offense, man. Dude, it's like Methuselah. He is old. Other than that, we didn't see a lot of our top guys. But it was good to see Brendan Aronson, who's been part of the system for a long time. He got on the score sheet. So good performance from Team USA. Malik Tillman, who might, long shot, but might work his way into the starting 11 next summer. But we got to win. And now everybody can get off Mauricio Pochettino's back. All right, when we come back, Brad Fritsch, we will talk U.S. Open. How did he view J.J. Spawn's win? We'll also talk about the ruling. And Rory McIlroy had some interesting comments over the weekend that even as me, a McIlroy apologist, bothered me. Next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org.
Whether you're new to it or a seasoned vet, if you're a rider, then you know that we are just kicking off the riding season. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and June has always been a month that really starts off numerous motorcycle events, rallies, and shows. It gets new riders excited about putting the rubber to the road because the weather is gorgeous. But that also means that a lot of other people are planning their summer vacations. And as a rider, when there's more people on the road, it is so imperative to ride defensively to help prevent an accident. Now, if you are in a wreck on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, it is so important to remember to always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike and your gear and the investment that you've made. Case evaluations are always going to be free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Gift yourself an icon, the Omega Speedmaster. Known as the Moon Watch, this legendary timepiece made history as the only watch selected by NASA to withstand the extreme environment of space and was worn by astronauts on the first journey to the moon. With its timeless design and unmatched durability, the Omega Speedmaster continues to inspire adventure seekers worldwide. Find your perfect Speedmaster at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best place to buy a watch. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We have Team Canada. Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Sidney Crosby, Braden Point. They will not need a goaltender because they're going to score all the goals. Although, maybe Brad Fritsch is available. My friend Brad Fritsch, former PGA Tour player, who joins us now on the Adam Gold Show. We expect that Brady Tkachuk will be one of the first 6 players unveiled for Team USA. Maybe Jake Sanderson will also make the team. 2 of Ottawa's best players will be playing in the Olympics for the United States.
Yeah, I would think so. And maybe Linus Ullmark, maybe, although they didn't take him for the World Championships, and he seemed a little hurt, and he had harsh words. So he may have talked himself out of that one. I'm not sure.
Harsh words. Harsh words don't always help.
No, they don't. And you had harsh words. My boy Mike Weir caught a stray from you earlier today. Come on, man. Like, I had eight tour wins, the Masters.
No. I'm just saying at the time. At the time, right? How many tour wins did Mike Weir have at the time of the Masters?
I think probably 4 or 5.
Okay, then that would be that would be unfortunate for me to respond to take a shot at Mike Weir that way. Brad Fritsch is joining us here. Let's get into JJ Spawn. Just give me your overall thoughts on what we saw in the final round of the U.S. Open.
Well, I feel like I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like it's been a while since there's been a kind of a war of attrition like we saw at Oakmont yesterday, where it wasn't, the short grass and the ball running off into, sandy areas like Pinehurst or, runoffs into chipping areas or long fescue grass like a Shinnecock will be next year. It's been a while since we've had, oh my God, look at this rough. And I feel like that was the original bones of the U.S. Open. I love that style. I think it puts a premium on driving the ball. And you saw guys coming down the stretch like they could not get the ball in the fairway.
Yeah.
On 14, although 14, I had to laugh. I mean, I've played Oakmont a few times, and guys are ripping 3-woods, and I think Adam Scott hit driver, and it's a short hole. And it was so windy and wet at the time that they were playing that hole. Balls were coming back, and they were having 180 yards into a 400-yard par 4. So, yeah, it was just kind of a crazy turn of events with the weather. I think the USGA and Oakmont would have preferred that it not rain like that, but there's an outstanding interview clip with Scotty Scheffler after his round. And they're like, what did you think of the weather, and did it mess you up? And he said, hey, outdoor sport. Like, that's what
it is an outdoor sport.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do?
It's funny. I was listening to an interview on, I guess it was Sirius this morning as I was driving in. And Mark Canizaro's covered the sport for a long time. He's with the New York Post. And he was ripping the USGA for not identifying the best player, but, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically embarrassing them. And everything was really good until the weather turned, until it got soft. I didn't understand. I mean, it was always supposed to be hard. The rough was always supposed to be penal. The greens didn't change. The greens have always been incredibly fast and sloped at Oakmont. Did it seem tricked up to you?
No, I think the combination of how they wanted the rough early on in the week, plus the rain, the excessive rain on Sunday, really led to what you saw coming down the stretch. But again, guys were missing greens, like Sam Burns and Adam Scott on the 16th hole just massacred their tee shots, the par 3, and I think it was Adam Scott couldn't get to the green with his second shot because his lie was so bad. Sometimes you have to step up and hit a good shot, or leave it in the right spot, which would be on that hole in the bunker. You can control the spin from the bunker. You can hit a better shot than you can from a coin flip of a lie in the rough. I do find the hand wringing very, very odd. I mean, Andy North, the beloved commentator on ESPN, won 2 U.S. Opens. He did not win another tour event. We weren't identifying the best player 50 years ago or 40 years ago. It's the guy who can survive the longest. And last year it happened to be Bryson versus Rory, and it was outstanding theater, and it was amazing. But this year it was J.J. Spawn outlasting a bunch of good players. And Sam Burns is, a Ryder Cupper, and he's on the cusp, if he wins a few more and gets in contention of a few more majors, of becoming an excellent player. But, a bunch of guys went out there who had world-class credentials and played their way out of the tournament early on, like a John Rahm, a Scotty Scheffler, and just couldn't do quite enough to get back in it, although they tried. And, I think Scotty still has a chance, according to the commentary. I think he still has a chance to win this week. And I wanted him to win. I'm like you. I want the best players to win because I love watching Steph Curry win NBA championships. I love watching Scotty or Bryson or whoever win major championships. Like, to me, that's sort of the fulfillment of what you expect. But the way it happened yesterday, I will admit, seeing J.J. Spawn 2-putt was nowhere near the experience that it was seeing him make that putt.
It does change, right?
Oh, totally. It totally changes everything, I think. And the fact that he made it for 64 feet and 5 inches just kind of put the cherry on top of a win that nobody expected, of course, including himself. But it also provided amazing theater just for that one single moment. And I think you just need one moment at a huge event like the U.S. Open to make it extremely memorable. Have you seen the Tyrrell Hatton clip where he's giving an interview?
Yeah.
While it happens, and you see a bit of his personality come out, and I think that was awesome too. He's like, oh my God, that just happened. Am I sad the way I played? Yes. But look at just what happened. That's amazing. JJ, what a great, right? Like, they all can kind of put themselves in each other's shoes of that happening. And he was just as, thrilled in his own way. as everyone else was surrounding the green.
Brad Fritsch is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I said at the beginning of the show, I'm a major championship snob. Unless I have a personal connection, I would never root against you. I rooted for you when you were, believe you were on the first page of the leaderboard as a Chambers Bay, right?
Yeah, I played for a while. I stuck around a little bit and then, made the cut. But it was that was another kind of a weird week where the USGA got blasted during and after. And, gosh, like it's a sport, too.
Right.
Bash the USGA. But, they put on amazing events. I don't know what everyone complains about.
I know, but I rooted for you then. But normally, if it were not you, I would not have rooted for you because I want to see the Stars win. But JJ Spaun was, what he overcame just in the final round, bogeying 5 of his first 6 with the names that were still around. They weren't star names. Adam Scott was the only player really in the first page and a half of the leaderboard that had a major championship to his credit, and that was basically a dozen years ago. Sam Burns hasn't won one. Terrell Hatton hasn't won one. None of these guys had won one. There are a lot of good players. Spaun was the most recently close to winning one of those types of event when he lost to Rory McIlroy in a playoff at the Players' Championship. But, man, the rain delay came at the right time for J.J. Spaun.
Yeah, just sort of like a timeout in hockey, or like you said, the end of a period in hockey. Just get it. You get it in, get it done, and then you have a break to kind of reset emotionally. Some guys might just completely fill up on whatever they need to in terms of food or drink. But mental reset is super important when you have those awful starts like J.J. Spaun did. And then you want guys, there are a bunch of guys who I'm sure wanted to continue who are playing just fine. And then after the delay, they went back out on the course, they just fell apart. And it was kind of crazy how many did fall apart. Now it's the U.S. Open. I get it. And there was something to be said, and they mentioned it on the broadcast, where ball's not going to fly as far anymore. The temperature drops a little.
Yep.
You've got rain still coming down, and there's a lot to say about how conditions change, and there's water on the club face, and of course there's the casual water and not so casual water in the fairways. So there's a lot going on, a lot of variables, just besides I need to hit a good shot here. And so J.J. Spaun, persevered through it. His shot on 17 was obviously fantastic. One of the best 3 or 4 of the day, I think they said.
Yeah.
And then pipes it on 18, hits it on the green, and then obviously that miracle putt to win.
So Brad Fritsch is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What was your take on the ruling that Sam Burns got or didn't get? Got a ruling, but they didn't allow him to take a free drop from what he was hoping would be termed casual water. I guess it was on the 15th hole.
Yeah, so you kind of said what I'm going to say is that you've got two separate people who live and breathe the rules of golf. That's their thing. And they both came to the same conclusion. Obviously, Sam Burns wants a different result. If this was the PGA Tour, he might have gotten it. But then the people who are so upset that he didn't get the ruling would be super upset that they're not playing the ball down and playing as it lies, and these guys are so pampered. Like, it's the same thing every time, right? It's the same thing. People just want to yell. I just defer to the two people who know the rules of golf 1,000 times more than I do, and they came to the same conclusion. He had a really poor shot from that lie, and again, missed it in the worst spot possible. And he was fully accountable after the round. I saw a really good clip of him just saying, it is what it is at that point. I have to move on. I have to hit a better shot.
Right.
I wanted a different result from my question, but I definitely wanted a different result when all was said and done and I had to hit the ball. So, in the moment you saw him striking the ground a few times, like, look at the water. But I think he knew that regardless of what happened, he still had to hit the shot. So I think he was more disappointed in his execution than the actual ruling.
Yeah, and it looked to me like he didn't move on from the ruling when he executed the shot because his reaction to the shot was more about the ruling. But at that point, I mean, that's on him. He could certainly have hit a better shot. I don't know if he should have gotten a different ruling or not, but he got the same ruling twice. So there is something about that. Final thing for Brad Fritsch. I don't know if you caught this, but Rory McIlroy, after his round on Saturday, did one of those flash interviews. He didn't do one after round 1. He didn't do one after round 2, but he did it after Saturday's round. And a lot of people are harping on Rory being frustrated with the media. But I heard something else in that interview that people have not picked up on that bothered me more, and maybe says more about where Rory's head's at, in which they asked him about, was he, did he feel like he could carry momentum? Because he was 2 under over his last 15 holes on Friday, on Saturday, to go from whatever it was. I might be getting my days right. I think it was Friday. He got to 8 over, but then finished at 6 over. So it was on Friday. And he goes, well, it's easier to play when you don't care if you make the cut or not. And to me, that was more disturbing than being frustrated with the media.
Yeah, I think that just probably says more about where his head's at in the last month or so. I don't think, let's go back 6 months. I don't think he'd feel that way 6 months ago about any tournament, especially a major championship, not caring about being there on the weekend if he was not in contention. I just think that something has snowballed in his mind. He feels aggrieved somehow, and maybe it'll come out sooner rather than later, I hope, just because it makes people wonder and talk. And I think what happens a lot of the time is people, including maybe himself, equate online chatter to the media. X is not the media.
Right.
Twitter is not the social media is not the media. And so unless, and this is what some people were asking, like, point me to the article that hurt you. Point me to where someone with a legitimate platform with readership has hurt you. And I don't recall seeing anything like that. The entire golf media swooned over him, and rightly so, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's something in the works, insider stuff that we don't know about that will eventually come out. But I thought that was, I thought it was strange. I guess a certain part of me thinks that a media member could have kept it to himself about the driver at the PGA Championship. It's not necessary.
Right.
And without explaining it 100% all the way, people immediately go to, oh, so he was cheating. And it's absolutely not the case, right? Like, if you don't understand what the parameters are for drivers and how they can change over one shot, then you just don't get it. So that maybe that part of, the story is part of what he's feeling, but I can't imagine that's all. And so I'm probably I'm a little confused in all honesty about what he's got, going on in his head. If we find out, great. If we don't, I don't think it's a huge deal, but the star of the game can't be this petulant all the time. So I hope it stops.
Yeah, I do too. It was not good to hear that Rory didn't care about being on the weekend. When, if you know anything about Oakmont, all you got to do is make the cut, and you had a chance. Brad Fritsch, I appreciate your time. Go Senators. I will talk to you very soon.
Hey, listen, you want to talk about Mitch Marner and someone who doesn't shoot the puck. You get people being paid to yell shoot the puck if he comes on the team. Who's going to shoot?
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Like, I like your list of things that wouldn't, necessarily be advantageous if they grab him, but they need shooters.
They do. Shooters.
Yeah.
Not passers. Brad, I appreciate your time, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Take care.
All right, we got a quick break. We come back. We got one-timers next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Pole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and that's the place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals, which are ongoing. Benedict Mathurin, who saw 27 points coming off the bench in Game 3? Well, maybe if you were paying attention to the FanDuel app, you'd see it. Everything's right there. Plus, new customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today, enjoy the playoffs while they last, and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Every parent wants their child to grow up healthy and strong, especially if they have a special medical need. And when my son Maddox was born with a rare neurological disorder, private insurance wouldn't cover his care. But Medicaid stepped in, and now Maddox can go to school and have a future of his own. My name is Ashley, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Quick apology to Mike Weir. Brad Fritsch was correct. Mike Weir had 5 PGA Tour wins before he won the Masters in 2003. Among them, a World Golf Championship, the Tour Championship, and he had 2 wins earlier in the season in 2003. No need for Mike Weir to be catching strays out of nowhere. just because I was trying to prove a point. So I apologize to Mike Weir. One-timers.
All right, looking at our YouTube stream, or you can at me on Twitter. We've first up got Levi. He wants you to please help make sense of the Rafael Devers trade from Boston. He is feeling very blue because I think he is a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
After they just swept the Yankees.
They did. And he hit a home run yesterday that helped them win the game. Very weird. We're going to talk about this tomorrow with Elliot Johnson. My feeling on this is that this is twofold. One, Devers is an issue, but he's also such an incredible hitter that you deal with issues because of the way the guy can help you win. But the Red Sox front office never consulted him when they went and signed Alex Bregman, to a free agent contract, because Bregman plays the same position as Devers. And it just started them down a road that they could not recover from. And when Devers refused to move to first base, the handwriting was on the wall. They wanted to get rid of him. But, yeah, this is multifaceted. We'll get into it a lot more tomorrow. And I'll talk about it more on the other side as well. We got another one?
We have a really good one from Melissa. Melissa, right. I'm going to get to yours, if not later today, tomorrow.
Let's do it at the top of the hour. Because there's more to say about Rafael Devers and what happened with the Boston Red Sox. So we'll have maybe an extended one-timers next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. I remember when I met Gordon back in 1999, and he told me about no closing cost mortgages, and I thought, well, I've never heard of these before. Explain them to me. He said, basically, closing cost, bunch of fees, the banks charge you, and all it effectively does is lower your monthly payment by about $50 a month, whatever the point ratio is to that. But if you don't pay closing cost, you can refinance free of charge when the rates come down, and we lower your monthly payment, and you still don't pay closing costs, and now your mortgage is just like the guy next door, only you haven't paid thousands of dollars out of your own pocket, and you always have the freedom to refinance when the rates come down without that ping in your mind that you've wasted thousands of dollars. I said, where do I sign? He said, right here. MillerLending.com, online. Check it out. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
2.5 left. Gilgeous-Alexander on top of the arc. Dribbles to his left. Stumbled a bit. Squares. Fires. Hits. And Oklahoma City takes the lead. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has led the Thunder back from 10 down. 2:21 to go in Game 4.
It was Chet Holmgren and Alex Caruso early. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander late.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. NBA Finals Game 5 tonight. We will see if this is Game 5, right? I think it's Game 5. We will see if the Pacers can get back after being pacered by Oklahoma City. Indiana has been the master of the comeback, but they had it done to them. So, we've talked about it. I think the Oklahoma City has the best player. They have the MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. After that, I'm not sure the Pacers don't have the next 2 or 3 or even 4 best players in the series. Halliburton, Siakam, Nembhard, Nesmith, Obi Toppin has had a great playoffs, but there's really not... There's a lot of similar after you get past the Pacers, Halliburton, Siakam duo. It's a pretty even series, and I guess that's why we are where we are, right? Anyway, we'll look forward to the game tonight, which I believe is, if you're listening locally, on the radio here, right?
I believe so, yeah.
You can listen to it on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to answer the further that Boston question, and we have some others, other one-timers. So we'll call this Take 2.
Okay.
And we'll continue it.
Why not? There we go.
I love the music.
I know, we've got music for everything.
So the question before was, make sense of Rafael Devers from Boston to San Francisco for 2 pitching prospects, 2 other prospects as well. And the truth is that a 3-time All-Star, unless you are getting a bona fide frontline starting pitcher or a bona fide bat in return, I can't make sense of that trade. Because it doesn't make sense. On an interpersonal level, however, it makes great sense for Boston. I'm not saying they should have done it, but I get why they did. So, working backwards, Rafael Devers was asked to move from third base to DH when Boston signed Alex Bregman, multi-all-star third baseman from Houston, in free agency. Devers was the worst defensive third baseman in the major leagues the last 2 years. Boston thought, okay, we got a great player, great hitter, great defensive player. Now, Bregman agreed to play second if they wanted, but ultimately they wanted Bregman to play third and Devers to move to DH. Devers didn't want to do that, but he ultimately acquiesced and did it. And then when Boston's starting first baseman got hurt, and they asked him to fill in at first base, he refused to do it, which, frankly, they didn't ask you to pitch. Not that first base is an easy position to play, because it's not. But I thought that was the beginning. That right there was the beginning of the end. And maybe Boston regretted paying him. It made more than $30 million a year in a long-term contract that he signed a couple of years ago. Maybe Boston regretted that deal, although I'm not sure why they would. Again, the guy's a great hitter. And they have dealt with other great hitters who were also difficult to deal with, Manny Ramirez. But to me, where this really unraveled is years ago in a different regime. There was no reason why Boston traded Mookie Betts. Homegrown player, could play right field at a high level, actually came up as a second baseman, is now playing shortstop for the Dodgers. Nobody does that. Nobody goes from outfield to shortstop. They go the other way. They go shortstop to the outfield. Mookie Betts, one of the best players in baseball. Boston had him, decided they didn't want to pay him, and traded him, and it's been downhill ever since. Even if they've been good at times, it's been downhill ever since. You never trade great, especially when they're yours, when you develop them. So I go back to that as the beginning of this spiral that Boston is in. But in the case of Devers, I can't explain it other than they wanted the personality out. And there's no way you're getting better. So I can't explain it. All right, next.
Okay, next up, this is the one from Melissa that I referenced. And this is a great question because not everyone knows the details or, they might need a refresher. So she wants to know, could you please explain how things work come July 1st for the Hurricanes? She said that she's new to the whole trade/offer sheet/UFA, RFA scenario. Thanks.
Okay. July 1st is the start of free agency. We'll probably have an idea of where some of the players are headed just before. The rumors will come out and we'll kind of know. But not for all. So free agency begins July 1, where any player who is not under contract to a current team can be signed. And the Hurricanes may do this. They have done this in the past. They did it a couple of years ago with Michael Bunting, and Dmitry Orlov ended up trading Bunting in the middle of the season. Orlov, his contract just ran out. They did it last year with guys like Jack Roslovic and Sean Walker and Shane Gostisbehere, blah, blah, blah. The restricted free agent, the offer sheet she's discussing there, is a different animal. You're still under team control, but your contract, your entry-level deal, or you haven't achieved enough NHL service time to be, or pro service time, to be an unrestricted free agent. So the team still has your rights, but another team can sign you to an offer sheet that your current team will have 10 days to decide whether or not they want to match. If they decide not to, then you get direct compensation from the other team. The Hurricanes did this with Jesperi Kotkaniemi several years ago. They signed him to a $6.1 million contract that Montreal physically couldn't match. And they couldn't clear enough space to keep him, so they let Carolina have him. And Carolina, I believe, had to give up a first and a third-round pick to Montreal to keep Jesperi Kotkaniemi, which was a booby trap. My fault for editorializing. So you can do that. Trades you can make at any time, so we don't have to worry about a date. And free agency begins July 1. I still think Carolina is more apt to be involved in trades than free agent signings, but they have so much money under the cap they could do both. And if they do Mitch Marner, they still have a lot to do, but Mitch Marner is certainly a name to look at. I know they have always liked Nick Ehlers from Winnipeg. He is a free agent. I know there are people who like Brock Besser from Vancouver. He is a free agent. There are intriguing names. I don't know how many Carolina will be really involved in.
Nah, well,
I don't know if I answered the question or not.
speaking of Ehlers, that is actually in the next one-timer question. Assuming the Canes pick up Marner or Ehlers, in either case, the 2C question is not solved. Is it more likely to move with a trade instead of free agency?
There's no free agent centers to get not named Sam Bennett, and Sam Bennett is not going to leave Florida, is my opinion.
And if he does, it would be a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to be more than Mitch Marner.
No,
so
he's going to get a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but the Hurricanes don't need passers, and they really don't need wingers. Centers, physical players, and a top right defenseman. That's what the Hurricanes need. If you address some other things, okay, but you have to address those things too. Otherwise, none of it's going to matter because you're not going to bridge the gap. Look at what Florida is down the middle. Look at what Tampa is down the middle. Whether it's Point, Cirelli, Paul, they're better down the middle than Carolina is. So Carolina's got to get better down the middle. I love Mark Jankowski, but he's a fourth-line center at best. That's it. Jesperi Kotkaniemi is probably also a fourth-line center at best, and you would like Jordan Staal to not have to play 15, 16, 17 minutes a night. They need a center to go with Aho. If you don't get that, you're just not bridging the gap with Florida.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. This is sticking along the Canes lines. So, from William, with Aho and Jarvis being great players, and Freddie, when healthy, is Slavin our only elite player?
Well, I think Aho's an elite player. I think Jarvis will be an elite player. I mean, they're world class. I mean, the fact that Aho's a top 6 player for Finland tells you a lot about how good Sebastian Aho is. Finland's got great players. So, yeah, I think they're both elite players. And I think Jarvis will make Team Canada if he's healthy.
Yeah.
So, those are elite players. So, nobody's got, there's 6 players on earth that move the needle like a McDavid or a Draisaitl or a McKinnon. Those players, most teams don't have that player. So, Carolina's got a lot of good players. They just need another center, maybe a big winger, a winger with size who plays a little bit of a physical game, or an elite goal scorer. They don't need any more passers, and they need a top right defenseman. I mean, I'm making the job easy for Eric Tulsky.
Yeah. He should just sign you on.
Exactly.
I know.
Anything else?
Well, we have a couple more, but if we don't have time, we can save them for tomorrow.
We're good.
Okay. Next up, I'd love to hear, this is from For Betters or Worse. I love the name. I'd love to hear an in-depth take on players who you think the Canes could go after this offseason, particularly at center and the blue line. Is that something you'd consider doing on the podcast?
I will definitely do that on the podcast. There are just not a lot of centers available as free agents. I mean, I've said this before. Carolina's going to, A, get better from within, and B, it's going to be via trade. The centers that are available just aren't what Carolina wants. Because, again, I don't consider Sam Bennett available. I don't think Sam Bennett's leaving Florida. I think as soon as the Stanley Cup finals are over, I'll bet you they announce a contract for Bennett. They don't want Bennett to leave. And they're not going to have to pay Bennett nearly as much as Bennett would get on the open market. Because I think Bennett wants to stay there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to leave a place that I've been so successful at.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm going to be well compensated even for staying. And I do think that a right defenseman is imperative that they come out of this offseason with. Have to.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Walker ain't it as a top pair right defenseman. Brent Burns can't be that guy anymore. They need a true one right D.
Yeah.
I also think they need a goalie, but that's fine. that's another matter altogether. Do you have another one?
One more, and
right.
this one's from Smat Charlie. I wonder if he's a Boston Red Sox fan too.
Smat?
He wants to know, who do you think will return to the Panthers and the Oilers? I'm assuming next season.
I think the Oilers are going to have a ton of turnover. A ton of turnover. I think what we're finding out now, the Oilers. I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl are next level. They'll get Zach Hyman back next year. The loss of Hyman is everything because he is that depth. Don't you think that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a better player, and he's been probably battling an injury too? But RNH is a better player if Zach Hyman is there. Evander Kane ain't it anymore. Jeff Skinner ain't it. Victor Arvidsson ain't it. Their best depth is Adam Henrique and Matthias Janmark. But they need depth players who can score. I mean, Florida's got 3 top scoring lines. Did you see the move Brad Marchand made Saturday night for the second goal?
I did.
Like, are you joking?
Mm-hmm.
He's playing on their third line. He is that was a Hall of Fame caliber goal.
Yep.
It is insane.
And he was on my parlay.
He was.
All but one again.
There you go.
The Panthers, him, and Draisaitl. Thanks, Leon.
Just so good. They are so deep.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they'll probably keep Marchand after this year unless they're willing to let, like, Aaron Ekblad go, and I don't know that they are. But my gosh, they're loaded. Edmonton is looking across and going, yeah, they're deeper than us. They have better players at their second tier and third tier than we do.
Yeah.
And that is a problem for Edmonton. So I think Edmonton will be very different next year, probably the bottom half of their lineup. I don't think Florida's going to be all that different. They don't have that many players who aren't under contract. So I think this is why you got to, if you want to win a Stanley Cup next year, if you're the Hurricanes, then you got to look at the Florida Panthers and go, how do we get there? How do we at least get close to where they are? Because you're not going to be able to get to where they are. You just have to bridge the gap enough to where it comes down to, all right, maybe we're not as good, but we're close enough. Now we got to play a game. And if you're close enough, then you can play the game and win the game. And 2 years ago, Carolina was closer, right? I don't know that they kind of were better 2 years ago, even though they were missing some pieces. But 2 years ago, Carolina was closer to Florida. Florida has elevated beyond where they were then. But 2 years ago, Carolina was closer, and we saw how close those games were. So Carolina's got to bridge the gap because Florida is right now at another level. All right, we'll come back. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News. We did not at any point in this particular segment talk about the men's national team's 5-0 win over Trinidad and Tobago. It's an actual tournament, the Gold Cup. Not sure it matters that much, but we'll talk to Mike DeCourcy about the makeup of Team USA and what to make of the spat between the head coach, Mauricio Pochettino, and their best player, Christian Pulisic. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Gilgeous-Alexander squares, fires, hits, and Oklahoma City takes the lead.
Basketball tonight. Indiana, Oklahoma City, the NBA Finals.
SGA will try a three, and it's good.
Game 5. Tip-off at 8:30 on your audio home for the NBA Finals. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
The Thunder have evened the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece.
So we just wrapped up Father's Day yesterday. We're starting a new week today, but there is something else to celebrate this Saturday. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and this Saturday is World Motorcycle Day, which is celebrated every year on June 21st as a day to promote freedom of the road. We highlight this day on June 21st because it's the longest day of the year, so most potential to get that motorcycle therapy in. And when you're out putting the rubber to the road, there's also that risk of getting into an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault. Now, if this happens, always remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too. They get it. They understand the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made. Your case evaluations are always going to be free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
I don't know if it was salve or, I don't know, maybe a good dose of ibuprofen, but we all feel better. The United States finally won a match. U.S. men's national team taking it to Trinidad and Tobago 5-0 to open up the Gold Cup. I'm not sure it matters. Mike DeCourcy, national college basketball writer, Hall of Fame college basketball writer, national columnist for the Sporting News. Does it matter that they won 5-0?
Well, it's better than they didn't win 5-0.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It sure is better than losing to Switzerland in the friendly.
Not just losing, but just getting obliterated, embarrassed. I think this last month of U.S. soccer discourse has been the weirdest and the most abstract. I mean, there are opinions coming from all over the place. and the opinions themselves seem to be coming from all over the place. It's been a very strange month for American soccer. Usually, like when we had the whole thing with the 2019 team and Megan Rapinoe, you could kind of see where these people were going to come from and other people were going to come from. But this one is, I think bizarre is a great word for it.
Yeah, the 2019, the Megan Rapinoe stuff, that really didn't have anything to do with soccer, which was very unfortunate. So let me ask you a couple of questions about. And we'll just start with the one controversy, and then we'll get into the team. Apparently, Christian Pulisic was willing to play in the two friendlies, but wanted the Gold Cup off, and Mauricio Pochettino wasn't happy about that. So basically, you're either here or you're not. So Pulisic is not, and he has played about 120 matches over the last 2 seasons and just needed a break. And I get it, and I'm not even mad that he wanted the break. But this has become a major talking point. I don't know if it's a big deal to Pochettino or Pulisic. What's your read on it?
Well, I think it's a big deal, certainly, but I think the way it's been handled at every level, except Christian's, has been like that's why I came up with the word bizarre. For instance, look, I understand that Poach wants to have control of the team. Of course, it's your team. You get control, absolutely. But when you make bad decisions, they're bad decisions. And declining to bring in Pulisic and others for the two friendlies was a bad decision. Is it more important to do well in the Gold Cup or to do well in the World Cup next year? Because everything I've been told, everything that I've heard, and really everything I thought and wrote in advance was that it did matter. The Gold Cup, this Gold Cup would matter in terms of preparing for next summer's World Cup. The problem is that all of a sudden roadblocks started being thrown in front of it, including by the world governing body. The placement of the Club World Cup into this window took 3 regulars, starters, regulars, whatever, out of the team, and so they weren't available. And at that point, you're saying, "Well, geez, man, that's more than a third of the team.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big chunk of the team. That in terms of the outfield players, it's nearly a third of the team, I should say. And so that's a lot. And then you throw in Jedi Robinson, who's hurt and needed surgery. Okay, now we got 4, and all of a sudden you've got a huge group of players that aren't available. So what good is it going to do to have Christian Pulisic out there playing another 5 to 6 weeks of soccer with almost no break? That doesn't make any sense to me. So at that point, I totally understood why he would say, this isn't going to help me and it's not going to help them, because I'm going to be out there with a lot of guys who won't be in the World Cup team next year. So why am I there?
Yep.
And why would I not be better off getting rest? He was one of the 10 busiest soccer players in the 5 top European leagues over the last 2 seasons. Top 10 in terms of time spent on the field. That's a pretty big load. Other teams maybe rotate a little bit more. AC Milan had him out there as much as they could get him out there.
Right, their best player.
So that's what you're up against. And so I don't blame him for wanting the break. I do blame Poach for saying, no, if you can't play in the Gold Cup, I don't want you for the friendlies. I mean, he could have had a lot of these guys in there and spent time in those 2 games actually getting something done. As it was, the Turkey game was a good experience for the guys who were on the field and who mostly were the guys who played last night and won 5-0. The second game was an absolute complete disaster and a complete waste of time for everyone, because almost nobody who played in the Switzerland game is worthy of being on the World Cup roster next year, and they're barely worthy of a January camp call-up.
I agree with that, and I'll just extend that. And I know you almost hate to single him out, but I thought it was particularly telling that Matt Turner was no good in the match. At least 2 of the goals probably shouldn't go. Now, he wasn't playing with the A team in front of him, so I get it.
Right.
But it was not Matt Turner's finest hour, and it amazes me that the United States isn't better in goal. Historically, we've been amazing between the sticks, and this country has not produced a top-flight goalkeeper in a long time. Matt Turner sort of emerged out of nowhere and was a very good, soldier for U.S. men's soccer for a long time. But I think his sell-by date is upon us. I want to dig down with Mike DeCourcy here into the makeup of the roster, even at full strength. And, and maybe I'm the worst example of it, but I've become a pretty big fan over the years. I've always liked the men's national team, and it's good to see a lot of our best players playing in Europe. It's not the be-all. It's not 100% necessary. I think a mutual friend of ours a long time ago said it's more important to be the man somewhere and to have the pressure of performance. We talked about that with Pulisic for a long time. Than it is just to be, somewhere on a European roster. But right. I do believe that to be true. But we've got some really good players playing in Europe. We mentioned Pulisic. Tyler Adams had a great season at Bournemouth and will likely anchor the midfield. Anthony Robinson, might be one of the top 5 left backs in all of Europe. I mean, we have some difference makers. We really don't have a lot of those. And that's what concerns me a year from now, is that the makeup of our team is a bunch of good players, but very few great ones.
But that's been the nature of this team, really, for the entirety of its relevance. The relevance began probably 94. 90 was a cool thing that they made it to get things going for 94. But for the entirety of its relevance, they've had a handful of very good players, and then you've had to try to get by at some others. You go back to 2002, the team that made the quarterfinals were not strong in the back line at all. They did not have elite talent there. They had some guys who were pretty good players. They played Tony Sana somewhat out of position, and he did a good job there. But they did. I still remember the difficulties that they had in that area. And then they had they had Orlando Donovan and McBride and some others who were very, very capable players at that stage of their careers. And John O'Brien, who was an outstanding talent, but struggled to stay healthy. The same with Claudio Reyna. So even back then, it was like that. We've made progress in terms of turning out more guys who can play at a average to above average level, but it's still not to the point where you're turning out. I mean, you look at France and you say, no, that guy. Just like you were watching Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. This Doué guy, where's he from? France. I mean, it's like they've got a zillion of them. So does Spain. But the United States is not that yet, and I don't understand. I never understand why people don't do the math. We have a lot of high-level team sports available for male athletes right now. Mm-hmm. And soccer is still the 5th choice for a young, high-level male athlete because you can make a lot of money playing soccer, but you got to leave country to do it. And that's not true for basketball, football, baseball, or hockey. And so that's why it's still soccer for a lot of the best athletes still is not your first choice. And that's why we've made a lot of progress in 30 years, 35 years, but we're still well behind the other nations.
Yeah, and there's a development thing as well. I get it. And the cost, and I'm living this, the cost of playing high-level youth soccer is incredibly prohibitive to a lot of American families. I mean, it's borderline prohibitive to us. So I absolutely know it. There seems to be, like, my kid travels like a pro. I don't even understand. Well, we had an opportunity to go back to San Diego. He was just in San Diego. We can't. Thank God he had surgery. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but it worked out to not necessarily be a net zero. Anyway, my point is there are a lot of problems with the development program of soccer, youth soccer in America, that probably limits the overall quality. But there's so many kids And if you can play, you can play. And like there are kids who go and play in the academies with MLS and then go overseas. So we have 350 million people in the United States. We should be able to field better teams, but I absolutely understand your point. Let me get to do you see players who play? Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News is joining us here. The players who played yesterday in the 5-0 win over Trinidad and Tobago, and the United States has a couple more matches coming up in group stage. They'll play Saudi Arabia in CONCACAF, how nice, on Thursday, and then Haiti on Sunday. How many of the players who played yesterday, Chris Richards, yes, are likely to be even considered for the first 11 when we get to the World Cup?
I think Malik Tillman will certainly have a chance. He was terrific.
Yeah, it was.
I don't rule out Diego Luna.
I like him too.
Finding a way onto the field, if not as a first 11, then as an impact sub. I think Max Darson has made a lot of ground up. Look, he's not going to ever pass Jetty Robinson.
No.
But if Jedi is not available, then Max has made. He's played some really good soccer in each of the games that they've played so far. He's a ways away from that level, but he is starting to show that you can put him on the field and that he can do some good things, and maybe some of the plays he makes get finished by better players, that sort of thing. So there are players that are out there that have a chance to be relevant at that level. In terms of pure starters, I think those two guys, and as you mentioned, in the back, Richards would certainly have a chance, and I wouldn't rule out Tim Ream, although that wouldn't be the ideal. I mean, it's not ideal at this point, but you can't rule it out if Miles Robinson or someone like that doesn't show that he's capable. Mark McKenzie has not played very well in the back when he's played generally, and so you need somebody back there, and it is now the weakest U.S. position. And it doesn't look like there's a lot of answers on the horizon, or at least not in the horizon that exists relative to 2026.
It's funny. We've been looking for a striker forever. I actually think we have a bunch of good options. Flo Balogun is a good player. Ricardo Pepi is a good player, scores a lot of goals in the Eredivisie, but he doesn't start a lot. But I like the kid from Charlotte. Patrick Agyemang is a big player. I don't know if he's quite that quality, but he seems to have a knack for putting goals away, and he's a big body. So we don't have as many wings. It's basically Pulisic, Tim Weah, and Hope at this point. We don't have the depth at wing. We've got to score goals. We're not going to advance 1-0 a lot. Not in the World Cup. Are you at all, before I let you go, Mike, are you at all interested in this Club World Cup? I might have asked you this the last time we spoke.
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued by it. I am going to cover some of it. I will be at a game there's a few different sites that are relatively close to my home, so I will be covering some of the group stage, and then and I'm hoping to cover the final as well in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So I'm intrigued. It is another extra burden on the athlete, and that's where we get into the whole thing with Pulisic and all of that. It's interesting, all the debate about Pulisic. I heard a Chelsea coach say today that he's really worried about his guys because playing in this tournament, they're not going to get a ton of time off. And he said you really need a month off to refresh. And that's all Christian asked for, was a month. Yeah. And we're treating him like he robbed a bank, figuratively. Come on, lighten up on the guy.
I'm with you. I think this Club World Cup is in some ways, I get it. It sounds like it could be fun, but it's way too big. It's way too long, and it's way too much to ask for these players who basically have almost 11-month seasons. And even the time that they get off for international breaks, many of these guys are playing very contested matches during these international breaks. It is no good. You can't play 11 months of the year and be ready to go at the start. You're just asking for injuries. But I did watch.
One thing I would suggest relative to this is if you're going to do this, do it after the World Cup. Don't do it the year before the World Cup.
Right.
Do it the year after. There's no Euros. The Euros is in the middle of the cycle. Yep. So it sort of fills you toward that, rather than drain all the best talents a year in advance of the World Cup, and they're going to get to the World Cup having played almost 2.5, 3 years straight. Like the guys from Paris Saint-Germain, if they continue to play as they have. And those are some of the most important players in the world.
Yep.
Those guys are going to get to the U.S. next summer having played almost without a break for 2 solid years. And that is just really hard.
No doubt about it. PSG, I watched PSG Atletico yesterday, and I'm telling you, PSG is super fun to watch. I'm not even mad that they schooled us twice in the round of 16 of the Champions League.
How did they get to the quarterfinals? How did they get there?
Penalties.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I watched both matches.
The first one, it was pretty bad. But the second one was basically
better.
Just back and forth. It was not
better.
That was not a schooling.
It was better. wasn't awesome. It was better. They were better at home. Liverpool was better at Anfield than they were at Parc des Princes. But my gosh, they are amazing, and they are super fun to watch, and they look like they can score at will. And I think they're going to win this Club World Cup, because when you play in Ligue 1 and there's no other team that can come within 50 miles of you, these are the competitions that matter. All the other stuff, PSG knows they're going to win that league. They know if they don't want to win the French Cup, they won't. But otherwise, they will. These are the competitions that matter to them. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News. I appreciate your time. We'll talk soccer again. It's the summer of soccer here, Mike.
Yes, absolutely. And happy to be in the middle of it.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News.
That was exciting for you.
Yeah,
soccer.
All soccer. I mean, so we've got two major competitions going on at the same time. We have the Club World Cup, which I mock. It is a farce of a competition, but PSG, there are some high-level clubs who are playing matches in the United States. So you've got PSG, the reigning European champions. You've got Real Madrid. I don't even think it's arguable, the biggest club in the world. And you've got Chelsea here, and you've got Manchester City here, and those two clubs are trying to win this competition, even though the competition is an absolute joke, and there's nothing good about it for the players, including how much money the players aren't going to get out of it. The clubs are going to make a lot of money off it. But if you're a fan of European, I mean, it's not even just European soccer, it's all over the world. The best clubs, if they're taking it seriously, you're going to get a chance to watch some incredible matches. Like PSG Atletico was not a great match because it was one-sided, but I mean, there's some really, really good teams that are here. You got that, and you got Gold Cup, which, it's a competition. But that's what's going on right now. We've got maybe 2 more games left of the Stanley Cup Finals, tomorrow and Thursday. Maybe we've got 3 more games left of the NBA Finals. We have at least 2. Game 5 is tonight. So we're running out of other things. I know the College World Series is going on.
Yeah.
But I got no dog in the fight.
No, unfortunately
I know
not.
Carolina didn't get there. Duke didn't get there. State left a while ago. Wake's gone. Coastal, okay, yeah. It's Myrtle. It's not even Myrtle. It's Conway. All right, we'll break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We'll place bets next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
sports.
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Every parent wants their child to grow up healthy and strong, especially if they have a special medical need. And when my son Maddox was born with a rare neurological disorder, private insurance wouldn't cover his care. But Medicaid stepped in, and now Maddox can go to school and have a future of his own. My name is Ashley, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
If you are on Medicare, scammers may target you to steal your identity. Remember, Medicare will never call you asking for personal details. The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medicare Patrol program is here to protect you from fraud and provides you with knowledge to stay safe. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go. The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the 1s and 2s. Thank you to Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News. Next hour, Christine Brennan, who has her book actually is not yet out. It'll be out July 8th. Didn't realize that we were jumping the gun. It's called On Her Game, which is about Caitlin Clark and the revolution in women's sports. Notice she did not say basketball because we are in the middle, or maybe at the beginning, probably at the beginning, of a revolution in the popularization of women's sports. It is, WNBA has never been more popular, but it isn't just that. Women's College World Series, softball, hugely popular. Women's soccer, hugely popular. And that will continue to grow. We'll talk to Christine Brennan about that as well. All right, let's stretch, then we can place bets.
Okay, so breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Is it?
So
is it really?
They've been telling us that for generations. So
and then they feed us bacon.
I know.
Come on.
This is gonna make you kind of eyebrow raise here. So Heinz, which we all know what companies try to do. Heinz is trying to get you to eat more ketchup, and specifically
Whoa.
for breakfast.
What? First of all, I have like there's a lot of ways we can talk about this. I have no problem, by the way, ketchup on eggs. I know people think they go no, I'm not saying a lot of it.
Oh, so you're a fan of it?
I think there's a time and a place for it.
Okay, because that's what they're specifically throwing out there, is they want to normalize people putting ketchup on their.
I talked to Seth Jarvis about this. He agrees. You do what you want. I'm not saying you have to do this.
Yeah.
But if you have a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich,
right,
which everybody loves,
yes,
a little drizzle.
Okay.
A little drizzle.
Yeah.
I'm not saying load it up. Don't treat it like a burger.
Right. Yeah.
Just a little drizzle.
And it's good.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, this is exactly who they are trying to aim for, because what they're doing.
But it ain't making your breakfast healthier.
No, it is not. See, I'm more of the I can put tomatoes in an omelet kind of thing, but I haven't reached the ketchup-ness of it all. But I'm also not a huge ketchup eater. But Heinz wants everyone to be a ketchup eater, especially for
of course they are.
Breakfast, of course, because. Now
Dessert.
what they're doing.
Why don't they just attack desserts?
And that's probably going to happen once they tackle breakfast. But now they're trying to entice people in different ways because, humans will fall for anything. So they are partnering with 100 Waffle Houses around the country. And they are going, which is like, I don't know, 2 in every state. So they're going to change labels on their bottles and call it breakfast ketchup.
What?
And it's the same product, just different label. And they're actually going to put it in maple syrup bottles. So they're really, really pushing
trying too hard.
This breakfast thing. So
just trying too hard.
There's someone, if you're putting it in like a syrup bottle looking thing, people are going to be putting it on their pancakes. And that's just a whole different wrong level. So Heinz Ketchup wants people to have that. They claim 1 in 4 people use it for breakfast products. I am not one of the 4, but you are, and maybe I'll try it just once to see how that goes. But I don't know, I haven't put ketchup on any of my breakfast things, but Heinz wants you to. Now, something else that you should not be doing if you are going to Ohio anytime soon and visiting an amusement park called Kings Island, they want you to be real careful because it is cicada season out there.
Oh, no.
And so they are dealing with them by the masses. And we are no strangers to cicadas here. They are noisy and gross and huge, and they will fly right into your face. And that is what they're warning you, is to potentially don't scream when you're on a roller coaster at this amusement park called Kings Island, because you might get a cicada in the face. So they don't want you
None
to
of that sounds good.
joke or anything, which, that's enough reason. Bring back the masks. I mean, just ride the roller coaster with a mask. I don't know. But let's not do that. That is a terrible situation. But you know what's not terrible? Placing good bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me.
I owe you nothing.
All right, let's rock and roll. I have did I do any, was I good over the weekend? No, that didn't work.
Kamaru Usman for the win, plus 225. Got him this week.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Plus 225.
Yeah, plus 225. Usman, come on. What are we doing here? But yeah, of course, I also, like I mentioned earlier, I'm the queen of all but one in parlays, and that was my hockey parlay.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but today, no hockey, all baseball. Since Smart Charlie, he's a Phillies fan. He told me in the chat he's not a Boston Red Sox fan. I'm going to pick between the Phillies and the Marlins today. They're in Miami, but I think the Phillies are going to win this one. They've been hot lately, so give me the Phillies to win, and I'll take the under 8.5. That's plus 250.
All right, we're going to start with the NBA Finals tonight, just flat out. Indiana plus 310?
Oh.
Really?
Okay.
I'll take a sniff.
Yeah.
At plus 310.
Why not?
Pacers, that's a lot of value. All they got to do is win a game. They can win a game. They won game 1.
Yeah.
Why can't they win game 5? So we'll go Indiana to win game 5 plus 310.
All right. Looking at Colorado Rockies are going to be in Washington taking on the Nationals. Give me the Nationals, and I'm going to go over 9, and it's just 9, which is, I hate when they do that, but over 9 plus 170.
All right, the Club World Cup. Interesting match. Chelsea and LAFC. One of LAFC's, high-profile signings this offseason, Olivier Giroud, who played at Chelsea just a few years ago. When I started becoming a fan, I'm like, hey, I recognize that guy.
Yeah.
He also won't anymore, probably, plays for France internationally, but he's at LAFC. I think that match ends in a draw. LAFC and Chelsea, that's plus 500 for a draw.
Ooh, we love a draw here.
Yep,
Last but not least, San Diego Padres, now with a new company, are in LA taking on the Dodgers. Ohtani is pitching tonight, so give me the Dodgers to win at home. I'll take under 8.5. That is plus 215.
All right, the Rays just swept the Mets at Citi Field in Queens. They'll beat Baltimore tonight over 8.5. It's plus 240.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf in Cary, North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience, and I have a great idea. Beat the summer heat and get your golf on at the same time. Grab your foursome, even a sixsome, and head over to the X Golf in McGregor Village Shopping Center. Take advantage of my special buy one, get one free deal. Buy an hour, get the second hour free. Just mention Gold and enjoy. Heck, it's already less expensive than your regular course, and it's not 100 degrees and humid. X Golf in Cary, the home of premier indoor golf in North Carolina.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan. It's Men's Health Month, and WakeMed Heart and Vascular would like to remind you that stress and anger can have negative effect on your body, and if continued over time, can cause major problems like headache, upset stomach, insomnia, high blood pressure, and maybe even a heart attack or stroke. So take a time out, relax, take a deep breath, and walk it off. Manage your stress, and your heart will thank you. Learn more about caring for your heart at wakemed.org.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Now it's time for Tyrese Halliburton to return the favor. I'm talking about from start to finish, he needs to put this Indiana team on his back and shine on the road. TJ McConnell, Ben Mathurin, they got them a win at home game 3. It's time for the others, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam. This is their time to perform on the road and get their lick back in the crucial game 5.
Just so everybody knows, and that's Kendrick Perkins from ESPN. Game 5 is not crucial. Game 5 is pivotal. We always have, there's the all-important Game 1 or all-important Game 4. Crucial Game 3, pivotal Game 5, and then when we get to Game 6, somebody is staving. Somebody smarter than I should write like the rules for this. Maybe I will. Hi everyone, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. That is Victoria. Coming up in about 15 minutes or maybe less, Christine Brennan, columnist, USA Today, who has a book out or coming out July 8th. On Caitlin Clark. It's Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. Excuse me. It's called On Her Game. I'm all choked up. We'll talk to Christine Brennan about this, and really an incredible time to be a professional athlete or to be an athlete. If you're a girl, a woman, women's college sports continues to get bigger and bigger. Women's golf, women's tennis, we see basketball, we see soccer, all elevating, becoming more and more popular, and not charity cases, as some men will try to tell you. But they don't make as much money in the WNBA. No duh. But it's getting more and more attention, and it should. Television ratings for WNBA continue to go through the roof. I mean, just crazy. And Caitlin Clark missed 3 weeks with an injury. And the game suffered. In terms of the eyeballs, suffered. Meanwhile, people might have missed Angel Reese with a triple-double. Somebody also pulled her hair yesterday. We don't see that a lot in the men's game.
No, not so much.
But yeah.
Sometimes in football.
She was, right. She was not pleased. She was not pleased about it at all. But yeah, it happened. Very long braids, I guess.
Yeah.
Like waist length. Like,
oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, tie those up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk to Christy and Brennan in just a few minutes. Right now, it's time for Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right. I know we talked a lot about soccer with Mike DeCourcy last hour. Here's Casey Keller, who is a former men's national team player, goalkeeper, on the mood around Team USA.
No, look, I agree with Pochettino. The player doesn't dictate the plan, but you can sure as heck question the plan of Pochettino. That's for sure. I mean, when you go back to Nations League and the embarrassment in Nations League, then you come into two friendlies and you get, beat at home against two, decent European sides, and one of those you get absolutely smashed and humiliated at home in 36 minutes. It's kind of hard to really understand where Pochettino's coming from and saying that, this is our plan. What, your plan is to be humiliated? Maybe your plan should have been to bring the best players possible available, get some results, and then know that those players also are going to need a rest, and that this other competition gives you an opportunity to see maybe some of those other squad players and give them a chance to play.
So we talked about this with Mike DeCourcy last hour. Getting as many of the first 11 men's national team players as you could. For the friendlies this past, now more than a week ago. Before the Club World Cup. And now the Gold Cup and the Club World Cup are going on at the same time. Because there's a lot of players who are going to play in Club World Cup, and they might have been unavailable anyway, but Christian Pulisic could have played in the two friendlies, one against Turkey, then against Switzerland. That would have been better. Would have given you a better chance to show a better team. But Pochettino took a little bit of a hard line at it, and it didn't work out. They got beat by Turkey, got embarrassed by Switzerland. The team this is why I wasn't put off by the result of Switzerland, is that there were almost zero players who were even going to be considered for the World Cup roster in that game. One glaring weakness was the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who is probably going to be the first choice keeper when we get to the World Cup next summer. So that's a little bit of that is something that the U.S. men's national team is going to have to address. Anyway, treating your best players better is important. Pochettino, I think he wanted total capitulation from everybody, but this ain't a club team. You got a lot of factors going on. JJ Spawn, the U.S. Open champion, recognizes what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a storybook fairy tale ending. Kind of the underdog, fighting back, not giving up, never quitting. With the rain and everything, and then the putt. I mean, it's just, you couldn't write a better story. And I'm just so fortunate to be on the receiving end of that.
I mean, wow. Not only bouncing back from 5 bogeys in his first 6 holes to fall from 1 shot out of the lead to seemingly out of it, but he was only 4 shots back. And at 2 over par, you were never far from the lead that, ultimately we were going to be at. Now, he ended up finishing at 1 under, 2 shots clear of the field. But it really was and the rain delay helped him. But it really was incredible perseverance on JJ Spawn's part. And man, it was a blast to watch it. It was a great, fun final round. All right, so the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers not playing tonight. Game 6 is tomorrow. But I want you to hear this from Matthew Tkachuk today. And wait till you hear the number of games that Florida has played since the start of the regular season 2 years ago. Not last year, the year before. Wait till you hear the number of games they have played.
It is a grind, probably worse than anybody can imagine. I'm not going to give away our recovery secrets because then some other teams might think that they could be in this position. But we that is a very important part of what we do. It's so important that once the game's over, win or lose, you win and you learn. We've talked about that a lot. And then on days when you're not playing, get away from the game, get your body back to as close to, as good as you can get it for the next game. That's very important. We do so many different things at home, on the road, but that's a big thing for us, and we've been preaching it for pretty close to 3 years now, and it's helped us a lot, and it's been a great. Very big reason why we continue to have success deep into the playoffs, and then, come back after a few months and are able to get right back in the swing of things. So it's important. Our team does a really good job of training really hard in the summer, very well conditioned group, and then dealing with the aches and the pains of long playoff runs, and we do a really good job of those days in between games of getting back to how we need to be.
All right, so the number of games they've played was actually in the question. My fault, but I did the math. They have played so far 104 games. Last year, they played 106 games. The year before, they played 103 games. So if I could do that math for you, that is 313 games, with game 314 coming tomorrow night. 314 games. Yup.
It's a lot.
If you are on a team that doesn't make the playoffs, you have played 246 games. Your team has played 246 games. That is almost a full season less than Florida has already played. 22 postseason games this year, 24 last year, 21 the year before.
That's why the Stanley Cup, in my opinion, is the most difficult one to win.
It's grueling.
Yeah.
Absolutely grueling. Christine Brennan, who has never won a Stanley Cup, will join us next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Every offseason, I tell myself, don't fall for it, don't get excited by minicamp highlights. And then you see one grainy clip from the sideline of Bryce Young throwing a deep ball to Teteroa McMillan, and I fall for the trap every time. Teteroa McMillan, Rookie of the Year, 10 touchdowns, book it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And here we go, Game 5 NBA Finals tonight. Back in OKC with the Thunder looking to take a 3-2 lead on the Pacers. And FanDuel's got performance trends so you can stay in tune with your favorite players and how they are playing. We need more from Tyrese Halliburton early and late. And new customers can get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So let's do it. FanDuel.com. It's never too late to get in the action. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
One Adam.
Gold.
One Adam.
Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
Oh, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. I was watching the North Carolina Courage. Actually, I didn't watch it Saturday night. I didn't realize the match was Saturday night. But I record all the matches at home. And I was scrolling through because we had no hockey or NBA basketball last night. So I was looking for something to watch after the Open. And I'm like, oh, look, the Courage are playing. And I'm forgetting now who they were playing because I actually ended up realizing the game was not live, and I fast-forwarded to the end. And I saw a friend of this program has been on with us before, Brianna Pinto, who is a player who played at the University of North Carolina, I believe, score a 90+6 or 90+4 goal to give the Courage a 2-1 win over Angel City FC. Big time win after getting shellacked in each of their last two matches. So it's a big win for the Courage. I know we'll hopefully chat with Sean Nahas coming up this week. I know he's been under the weather a little bit. There was I guess a caretaker coach for that match, but big win. And a guy who coached my son for a couple of years, Hassan Pinto, has got one son playing for, I believe, FC Cincinnati, and another son who used to play. Now his daughter is playing for the Courage. She happened to score a goal. All right, so we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark here in a broader sense, really more about women's sports and this tremendous surge of popularity in the game. And since the window through which we get into it centers around Caitlin Clark, here's Lauren Jackson, one of the best women's basketball players ever, and her opinion of Caitlin Clark as a player.
Speaking of the WNBA, who are you enjoying watching right now?
Who is everyone enjoying watching? Caitlin Clark.
I love her intensity. I love that. Obviously, she's a young player and still has so much, development ahead of her. But I think her smarts, the way she reads the game, the way she passes the ball, the way she shoots the ball, she can get to the basket, change a pace, And I feel like she probably has the pressure of the world on her shoulders, and she's still able to get out there and perform unafraid, no fear. Just what an athlete. I am just so impressed with her, and how awesome. So I'm a fan. Man, I would have loved to have played with her, as a point guard with that much vision and awareness. I've just never seen anything like it.
All right, that's Lauren Jackson. She knows about basketball. She's one of the best women's players of all time. Christine Brennan, one of the best columnists of our time. She joins us on the Adam Gold Show. The book is called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. I did not realize when I texted you yesterday that the book does not come out until July 8th. So I promise a return visit when people can physically go buy it.
Well, thank you, and I'll kick back that couple pennies that I get per book. Thank you, but people can order it now. It's available, on all the pre-orders. I've really never pre-ordered a book, maybe once, but people do it, and you can do it, or your bookstore, your local. What's the best independent, those great independent bookstores? I'm sure there are many in North Carolina.
Yeah, we do. We have a few of those. So I will.
You can call there, order it there.
Yeah.
But happy to. It's a couple of weeks now, and it's hard to believe it's coming quickly. But thanks for the mention, and I'm really proud of the book and the reporting. Breaking news, lots of new stuff that people who think they know Caitlin Clark, all the WNBA, all the things that happen. I cover it all. A journalistic look at really one of the most famous people in the country, not just sports, but truly one of our culture's most famous and beloved people right now.
I want to get into women's sports as a whole and a broader issue in a second, but let's just start with her first year in the WNBA, which was not smooth. I know you covered extensively, as you called it, a snub, and I went back and reread the column, which I think you posted on Twitter not that long ago at C. Brennan Sports, because you say you have new reporting in the book that surrounds that. But I'm just curious, what kind of pushback did you receive from your reporting on Caitlin Clark throughout the season? Because I'm pretty sure you did get some, as they say overseas, some stick from some players in the league as to your line of questioning or whatnot. So what was it like reporting on this?
Well, I have covered the WNBA and women's sports, obviously, for my entire career. WNBA, since the inception of it, I covered the team at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and then the WNBA started the next year, and I was doing lifetime TV reporting on the sideline, Adam, in '99, and have constantly talked to editors about we've got to do more coverage and what have you. So I care very, very much about it. Never have we seen the interest or sports editors even saying, hey, we're seeing the needle move with this person, obviously from Iowa. I hadn't covered the women's Final Fours in a while, so I didn't know her. I didn't cover her in Iowa. But I started to see this, and I thought, I don't know that I've ever seen a barnstorming athlete traveling around the country, selling out 20,000-seat arenas around the country, people in line in January and February in the cold for hours to watch one person, and this person, Adam, is a woman. I truly did not think I would see that in my lifetime. Tennis, yes, but a team sport, never. Never. It's just one person. And I quickly realized she's a basketball player. I go into this in depth in the book. Basketball player, yes, but she is even more importantly an entertainer. It's the logo threes. It's the three. She's chucking it from the parking lot, and it's going in. And that is like Tiger Woods, covering him the length of his career. So to answer your question, I then start to dive into this. A few columns for USA Today. The Olympic swimming trials happen to be in Indianapolis. My editor says, hey, can you go over and cover a couple of those fever games during that 10 days that I was in Indy for the Olympic swimming trials? Because obviously any sports editor would rather have the clicks of Caitlin Clark, which are enormous, than even the best swimmers, and that, you know how much I love covering swimming. So anyway, whatever. I started doing that, and I started thinking, there might be a book in this. I haven't written a book in a while. Scribner, my publisher, Simon & Schuster, immediately wanted it. No book proposal, no agent, just do it.
Really?
Never seen that before, ever, and that's this book. And then I start reporting it, and yes, people got very angry that I was asking questions about Caitlin Clark. That's it. That's a little revealing. Does anyone get angry on the golf tour, which as you know, we've talked about. I've covered Tiger the length of his career. No one ever got mad about answering a question about Tiger. Never. And so I think it was the WNBA was just not prepared for the national scrutiny that it was going to get. I'm not a local beat writer. Obviously, I do what I do on TV and in USA Today. And these are questions that I would have asked any male reporter. It was, of course, Dejanay Carrington and the issue of her fingers hitting Caitlin in the eye. Questions I would ask any male sports, athlete. Are we saying we can't ask women questions we would ask men in 2024? I think that's not where we want to be. Anyway, they wanted to ban me, the Players Union. That failed miserably because this is still the United States of America, I think, and and people still can get credentials and there's freedom of speech. And so, but I do deal with that a lot. How the WNBA was so utterly unprepared for the greatest thing that's ever happened to it, and we understand why. In many ways, I deal with all this no holds barred. 74% black league, understandably ignored, and we understand how the concern about how they were ignored for so long, and now a white woman from Iowa comes in, and that's the attention. We can understand those issues. I deal with all of them, and it's not my voice. I have the great Dr. Harry Edwards. I have Brianna Scurry. I have other terrific voices, white and black, talking about these very important issues.
Christine Brennan is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So many ways I can go just off of that. And I remember at her introductory press conference with the Fever, a guy I became friends with because he used to work here, Greg Doyle, asked a question of her in a manner that he would never ask a male athlete. And while I understand where his heart was, he was trying to make an emotional connection when he made the heart symbol that she makes all the time. And it was a poor attempt at kind of fast forwarding, a relationship that just has to be organic. Otherwise it's never going to be real. But he would never do that with a male athlete, right? He wasn't treating her like an athlete, like a star athlete that she was. He was treating her like a little girl. And these women deserve to be treated like real athletes. And I don't know that they have been really at any point, which maybe is why, the way your line of questioning was so surprising to them.
Well, that, and also I think they just were not prepared at all by their league leadership to be able to handle, to know what was coming. And Harry Edwards, again, the great, of course, wonderful voice of reason and a civil rights leader. He was the impetus behind the 1968 Black Power salute in Mexico City. Yep. So I've known Harry a long time, and he loves Caitlin Clark, and he says you've got to be prepared for that. So I think with Greg Doyle, and I deal with that in the book as well. I cover everything. Greg Doyle is now back covering her this year, but he was banned for a year. He's lucky he wasn't fired.
I agree.
Because he said, do that heart thing to me, and we'll get along just fine. And then he also said to the head coach, Christy Sides, how does it feel to have the keys to that? It was just grotesque what he did, and cringeworthy, doesn't even begin to do it. It was really troublesome throughout USA Today and throughout the Fever, and understandably so. As I said, he's lucky to have his job. I would expect if I did that to a male 22-year-old, I would not have my job anymore, and I would never do it for that reason. So that's just not how you treat people. I do think the nation's ready for her. I mean, we're almost at the 53rd anniversary, Adam, as you know, of Title IX, June 23rd, 1972, the 53rd anniversary. And and of this incredible law. So everyone in their lives has a Caitlin Clark. The girl in the kitchen you see every morning, changing jerseys in the back seat of the car to get between soccer and lacrosse or volleyball and basketball or whatever, softball and track and field. The girl across the street you look at through your window and wave in the driveway, your niece, your daughter, whatever it is, granddaughter. And so that is why the TV ratings are there. I mean, extraordinary. That is why this is my favorite stat. The Indiana Fever last year, that first rookie year for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, their average home attendance was higher than the average home attendance of 5 NBA teams.
Yep.
It's in the book. It's a fact. Can you believe I just said that sentence?
It really is incredible.
The nation, yeah. And Indiana, I mean, again, those are sold out. And when you watch those 40 seconds, and if people haven't, it's all over, social media, the 40 seconds with those 3 threes, that's the most entertaining 40 seconds in the history of the WNBA.
Well, she's a freak show. She plays and reminds me a little bit of Pete Maravich because she does play with a flair for the game that is I'm not going to say it's uncommon because I was there at Cameron Indoor Stadium when Connecticut #1, or maybe they were #2, played Duke #1. And Diana Taurasi played in that game, and I've never seen anything like that. She's the greatest women's player I've ever seen, and I include Caitlin Clark in that. I thought Taurasi was, game-changing. I don't know why it didn't hit. Maybe America wasn't ready for women's basketball. I have no idea. But at that point, I went, oh, my gosh, I cannot believe what I just watched. But I think that she's an incredible, incredible player. And you see what here, I'll just use this as an example. I started watching WNBA basketball last year more because of her. And I discovered Asia Wilson as a result of watching Caitlin Clark. And there's other great players too, but Asia Wilson to me, like, holy cow, why haven't more people been onto this over the last several years? Because she's not like she's a rookie. And that's really what you were getting at with the Olympics, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, Diana Taurasi, yes, but not chucking it from the parking lot. It is the logo threes.
She didn't have that.
It is the logo threes. This is what's bringing everyone. And Curtis Strange, obviously, the great golfer, North Carolina roots, of course. He's the one I quote in the book. It's a chapter title, "You Can't Take Your Eyes Off Her." He said, don't run to the restroom when she's bringing the ball up the court. You're going to miss something. It's extraordinary, the people that have been caught up in this, because it is just what we've been waiting for as a nation. Taurasi's personality, dreadful. The way she treated Caitlin Clark, awful. I've got all that in the book as well. So Caitlin Clark doing every autograph, doing the interviews, 2-3-minute answers, looks you in the eye. Taurasi was much more acerbic and abrasive. And again, so there's just no comparison, frankly. I mean, they needed Caitlin Clark. They were promoting, the Phoenix Mercury were promoting Caitlin Clark last year on social media to help Diana Taurasi sell out her own building, in Diana Taurasi's building, in arena in Phoenix. It's that Taurasi's not even close. And that I know bothers Connecticut people. Don't get me wrong. She's a great player.
Yeah.
She's not even in the same realm as Caitlin Clark in terms of entertaining. And when I think a lot of purists hasn't registered yet. And I understand that. My God, Maya Moore, one of the greats of all time, maybe the greatest of all time. She should have had this. But again, she's not chucking it from the parking lot. And that's what brings eyeballs away. Tiger brought eyeballs. But yes, absolutely. The Olympic decision looks worse and worse every second. It was the lowest, and this is in the book, the lowest TV rating since 2008. It was an absolute disastrous decision, and they almost lost the gold medal. And, of course, Taurasi didn't even play. You're not forgiving a 42-year-old a going-away present, just giving away a spot on the Olympic team, are you, Adam?
No. Well, you and I actually disagreed about that, but I didn't think that Taurasi wouldn't play, right? How much of that, because I want to get to a couple of other things before I have to let you go. How much of that was Cheryl Reeve, who was acerbic all last season about Caitlin Clark? How much of that was her, and how much of that was USA Basketball?
I think it was both. I mean, officially, Cheryl Reeve was not on the selection committee, but she's the coach of the team, right? So we weren't born yesterday, you and I. Also, just stunningly bad behavior by Cheryl Reeve, tweeting at and about Caitlin Clark, kind of blaming her for not having her games on, Minnesota Lynx on TV, but only, Caitlin games on TV. That's the gist of it. Again, I have all this detailed in the book, and I reported it at the time. How on earth is that okay with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and USA Basketball that its coach is actively tweeting and going on social media about someone who is in the selection pool? I mean, that alone should have been immediately nipped in the bud. Never was by the leadership of those organizations. So I think there's it's a very interesting world. It's a sad thing for me to see that there would be people who would be, after all these years of waiting for this kind of moment, this is it. Take it and run with it. Rising tide lifts all boats, just like Tiger Woods. Now, granted, in golf, Tiger did not have social media in 96, 97, 98, 99. So we don't know how bad the racism would have been and other things against him.
Oh, gosh.
It would have been terrible. So It's a different world with social media. But why on earth the WNBA and basketball? You just see, if anyone hasn't seen her answer the other day to the Hong Kong reporter, it's all over Twitter, social media, wherever you go, just Google it, look for it, where a man from Hong Kong says, I'm here, and she stops, oh my goodness, I can't wait to go to Hong Kong someday. Tell them hello. I'm sorry I didn't meet all of them. I mean, there's no athlete who even remotely acts like this. I mean, and she's 23 years old, 23 going on 40 or 50. I mean, the way she handles questions, think of the international appeal of Caitlin Clark. She would have been a one-woman dream team. And that is what USA Basketball left home. And it's not just me. The Washington Post calls it one of the worst decisions of the year, and there's no doubt about it. Horrible decision on every level. And because Will Bond, my buddy, college classmate, was saying, well, you just can't pick her because of bringing eyeballs. Well, women's sports kind of needs eyeballs. But her statistics at that moment, the decision, were better than Taurasi's and several of the other players who were selected. So statistics alone, because she had like 2 or 3 bad games, but you had a lot of negative media coverage, making it sound that she was playing worse than she was in those first few games, which is also something I go into in the book.
Christine Brennan, author of On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. All right, final thing, because I did want to bring it into the women's sports realm. You see women's golf, women's tennis exploding. Women's soccer continues to get bigger and better. The NWSL is expanding. There's a rival top-level women's sports, women's soccer league. We're starting to see softball. And at the NCAA level, it's a huge ratings winner. Now there's going to be more of a professional presence. Volleyball doing the same way. How important is Caitlin Clark to all of that?
Oh, she brings everyone in. Like literally, she goes to the indoor volleyball team in Indianapolis, and of course the cameras are on her and the big screen, and she's doing pictures with the team, and people want to be around it because she's there. I'm a little surprised that they haven't. She did have part of the ownership group of a Cincinnati franchise. The NWSL went with Denver. But to me, if I'm a league, I get Caitlin Clark involved in a ownership, part ownership, some kind of thing, any women's sports thing. You've got a magnet here, that attention magnet, the likes of which we have never seen in women's sports. I would even include Serena, Venus, different category, women's tennis, obviously, because of Billie Jean King and the equal prize money in '73. Women's tennis has always been off the charts. The LPGA, sadly, has not had equal prize money, and you see the result. It's good, but it doesn't have anywhere near the attention. Also, the golf world, what we saw, it would look like Tiger-esque galleries around a Pro-Am when Caitlin Clark showed up. Well, we'll see a lot more of that because the golf world understands her appeal and wants to be a part of it. Every sport, and I will give you this one. She showed up for a few minutes to the Olympic swimming trials in Indy, as I referred to. She went over one evening with her teammates. They introduced them all. Largest cheer by far was, of course, for Caitlin Clark. the one little video of her running towards the water. No one was in it yet. It was early on. No swimmers. Putting her finger in the water, pretending to jump in, putting her finger in the water, and then touching one of her teammates with her wet index finger, got more views. That was a USA Swimming post on its social media, had more views than any post they put out in 10 days on any swimmer other than their final one, which was the announcing of the Olympic team, which had many, many more views.
Right.
So a basketball player, happens to be Caitlin Clark, pretending to jump in and putting her finger in the water got more views than anything Katie Ledecky, Caleb Dressel, Michael Phelps, anything. That's how big a deal this woman is. And yes, every sport would love to be able to have her involved in some way or other. But it's a sign of where we are as a nation that we are now seeing this and loving it. And people now, Tuesday night, tomorrow night she plays, there's no doubt that there's a guy who never would have given the time of day to women's sports, putting on his 22 jersey and walking out of the house with pride. Stunning, absolutely stunning. We never would have seen that 10 years ago. And also planning his evening around watching tomorrow night's Indiana Fever Connecticut game. And that is just a shocking thing to me and a wonderful thing to see.
At C. Brennan Sports on Twitter, on her game, Caitlin Clark and the revolution in women's sports. When it comes out, we'll talk again. So I'll text you in a little bit. I appreciate your time, Christine. Thank you so much. We'll talk again very soon.
Absolutely, Adam. Take care. Thank you.
You got it. Christine Brennan here on the Adam Gold Show. I remember at the time we had this conversation. I disagreed that she had to be on the team because she didn't obviously make the team. Now, I don't have to be right, but that was my argument at the time. And I agree with what Michael Wilbon said in that the Olympic team should not necessarily be about trying to attract the best television ratings. But it wouldn't have hurt, even if she didn't play, because if Diana Taurasi wasn't going to play, then what was the point? So while I disagreed at the time, in retrospect, and I'm fascinated to read the new stuff that has come out in this book, and we talked about a lot of this, I do think that there was a fair amount of disrespect placed on some of the other players that were also part of the movement. They weren't part of it to the extent that Caitlin Clark was, and I think that drove a lot of the, and I called it jealousy, because I do think that there are a lot of people that are like, hey, I matter too. But in retrospect, we're probably recognizing all of these people as great athletes because Caitlin Clark dragged us all in to watch. Anyway, she's a phenomenal player. I'm sure that book is great when it comes out July 8th, but you can pre-order it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and we'll rewind next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and that's the place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals, which are ongoing. Benedict Mathurin, who saw 27 points coming off the bench in Game 3? Well, maybe if you were paying attention to the FanDuel app, you'd see it. Everything's right there. Plus, new customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today, enjoy the playoffs while they last, and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Every parent wants their child to grow up healthy and strong, especially if they have a special medical need. And when my son Maddox was born with a rare neurological disorder, private insurance wouldn't cover his care. But Medicaid stepped in, and now Maddox can go to school and have a future of his own. My name is Ashley, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here on the ones and twos. Thanks to Christine Brennan for joining us. Her new book about Caitlin Clark is really about the revolution in women's sports. But, again, there's a lot to delve into with Caitlin Clark in year one in the WNBA. She just came back from injury.
Yeah.
She was out for about 3 weeks maybe.
Right?
And, yeah, she didn't miss a beat.
We're already helping to sell the book. Someone in our YouTube stream, Mindy, who's a great listener, said she's going to order it. So there you
Really?
go. Yeah.
Oh, man. I'll text Christine.
Yeah.
And I'll tell her. I legitimately, I saw some discussion about it on Twitter yesterday. And I thought, oh, that's cool. You know, we're entering the summer. We could do a lot of different things that we wouldn't normally devote time to during the year because Carolina's playing or Duke's playing. By the way, Will Wade took a shot at UNC. I'm going to bring this up in a minute.
Daggers.
Oh, my gosh. Spicy.
Love it.
Very, very spicy. And I thought, oh, the book must be out. I knew she was writing the book. So I just texted her, you want to talk about the book? Sure. Then I looked at it like, wait a second, it doesn't come out till July 8th. So, but yes, it is still, well, maybe we'll talk to her again. All right, so here's the spice. Will Wade taking a shot at Hubert Davis, UNC basketball, whatever. And this, look, they're on their rubber chicken circuit. They're going around raising money and for Wolfpack Club and things like that, or whatever it is they're raising money for now. And here is what Will Wade had to say about Van Allen Lubin, who played at Carolina last year and is now at NC State. Ven is somebody the other school was too dumb to not play him. I'm not going to grade the English or the grammar here. When he plays 28-plus minutes, he's done that in 23 games. He averages 15 and 8. I don't know why the hell they didn't play him, but we're going to play him. So he's going to average 15 and 8. We're excited about Ven. Okay. First of all, I am here for anything spicy between the two schools.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
It's a rivalry.
It bothers me that they're only playing once. I ranted about this on Friday. I don't get how you paid Deloitte, however much you paid Deloitte, ACC, to give you a formula on how to best position your schools to make the NCAA tournament. I don't know what you paid them. I don't know why you paid them if you are not going to come up with, hey, give your fans what they want. Give TV what they want. We can't game the math to get a mediocre team somehow more attractive to the committee. But why don't we start with scheduling better for TV, scheduling better for your fans? Makes me angry. Waste of money. A waste of everybody's time, but a waste of money. But I am here for that spice because that is really what makes rivalries. Yes, high-level games in terms of professional sports, playoff appearances, but in college, you don't need to meet at the ACC tournament to have a spicy rivalry. And this is Will Wade jumping in with both feet, and I am here for it. Look, sometimes we can reverse engineer what the meaning is of the statistical data. Do I believe in any way, shape, or form that North Carolina was too dumb to play Van Allen Lubin because they should have known that if he plays more than 28 minutes, he's going to get 15 and 8? No, because that isn't really how it works. But it really works when there are no games being played. I'm sure somebody will flash a stat when running back A carries the ball 20 times, his team wins. His team is like 27-2. Well, why don't we just hand it to him 20 times? Therefore, we'll win. Look, circumstance, we watched last year. Van Allen Lubin was a good player. He's really, on a good team, I think, a depth player. I'm not saying I have to be right. It's what I think. If Van Allen Lubin plays 28-plus minutes every game, maybe he will average 15 and 8. But what happens if he doesn't? Guess what? He won't play 28 minutes. But, again, larger point, I'm here for the spice. I'm here for the back and forth. I'm here for UNC and NC State to not like each other, which they don't. Just like in football, because they don't, even though, I know you guys are going to hate it, you're way more similar than you think. I've said this before. I really don't see a difference in any of the fan bases. You're all the same. The ones we deal with here, the locals, you're all the same. There's less of you in Duke Blue. That's just natural. But you're all the same. Yeah, there is as many dopes who root for State as root for Carolina as root for Duke. Same. Percentages, I'm sure, are the same too. So, anyway, I'm here for the spice. I really am. All right, I I got nothing else on that other than I'm here for it. And man, Will Wade, chef's kiss. All right, we'll just close on this. No, we don't have time for a rewind. I apologize. Victoria probably did a lot of work for the rewind that we're just not going to use. Maybe we'll rewind this today, tomorrow. I have no idea. So we are, what is today's date? The 16th. We are 15 days away from NHL free agency. 15 days. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks anniversary. Maybe we should celebrate tomorrow. Maybe we should really do a deep dive and look into who, what Carolina may do. Here's what we do know. We know based on reports that Carolina will be heavily involved in trying to attract Mitch Marner to coming to Carolina. That's fine. That's fine. It isn't really what they need. This is the narrative has been Carolina is hell-bent on adding a star. Mitch Marner is that. He is a star. But here's what I would have hoped. The Mikko Rantanen experience, which I don't think was necessarily the wrong star in terms of the type of player he was, right? Because what Mikko Rantanen represents is exactly what Carolina needs. A bona fide goal scorer. That is not what Mitch Marner is. So, if I'm Carolina, I'm not saying don't pursue Mitch Marner, but understand, and I think they do, understand that when you make a list of where you fall short from where Florida is and understand that Florida isn't going anywhere, they're going to bring back largely the same team that is going to win its second straight Stanley Cup. If you want to bridge the gap between where you are now and where they are now, then you have to get better really in two main areas. One, center. Two, top flight right defenseman. Those two areas must be addressed. If you can add some size, some physicality among your top six, I'm all about it. But you need a better option at center, and you need a better option at top right defense. Add Mitch Marner. I ain't against it, but that doesn't address those two major areas that Carolina falls short from the Florida Panthers. I'm just saying. America takes us out. Victoria, thank you. I have no idea why, but it's okay. We're okay with it.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf and Cary with a great idea for Father's Day. Send him, maybe with a few guys from the cul-de-sac, over to X Golf and enjoy a couple of hours in the best golf simulator in North Carolina. And because you know me, I'm going to double your hour. Buy 1 hour, I'll hook you up for a second hour. Just mention Gold and enjoy. The bar menu's fantastic, the bar too, and Dad can watch the golf tournament on their big screens while he's playing places like the Old Course. Father's Day done right at X Golf and Cary, the home of premier indoor golf in North Carolina.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become